Hey guys, it's your boy Chris Lawyer. Welcome to my Patreon page. In the first video we are going to do a project walkthrough and we are going to take a look at on my track I Like It. It has been released in this year on my label NASCHKATZE Underground, and we will speak about all the different sections of the track. We will speak about the structure. Also we will speak about the different elements such as drums, bass, lead sound, effects and vocals. We'll go through on every single sound, so like kick, claps, hats, and I will show you the process, and I will also show you how I process the different elements of the track. So I will put the time code here. You can listen to the full track if you haven't. I will put the extended version. I think you should check the track before, because if you listen to it, you will more easily understand what's going on. Alright, so let's speak about the structure first. The length of the track is 440, so close to 440. And we have a DJ intro section, which is 30 seconds long. It's pretty often used nowadays in electronic dance music production. And from this, it goes into a breakdown. And from that, it's also 30 seconds long. And then it comes a drop A, where the kick and a bass comes into the track. And then we change it up a little bit, and we also add this lead instrument. We're going to talk about it in a sec. After that, also a breakdown comes, which is 30 seconds long. So it's not too long, and it keeps the listener's attention, because this track don't have too much movement or too much stuff going on. It's a pretty simple one. And then comes a drop B, also a drop B with a lead. And after I changed it up and also added a drop B Vox section. So it means the drop B with all the elements what came in the drop B plus lead section, but I added the vocals. And the last 30 seconds is the DJ outro. Okay, so let's speak about the track. Let's find the climax, which should be this section. Let's talk all about the elements, and after that we can check the different sections. So first, kick. It's a really simple kick. The master is not on this track because it would eat up too much space, so you are hearing the mix version. So about the kick, carried some low frequencies off under 35 Hz, and I wanted to clean this area for the sub bass. So just a little cut on the low end. I have two claps. One of them is this one. A little bit overdrive, and then EQ8, which cuts the low frequencies under 900 Hz. Actually, I could put it a bit up, but since this is a final project, let's not touch it. So here is the clap, and I'm going to add the overdrive and EQ8. So by cutting off these frequencies, you should not hear a lot of difference, maybe a little bit, but this is not a too exciting area. Actually, you should be on good speakers to hear that. So we remove that because we don't want to have too much stuff on the low end. It's a really important part of the track. And I have another clap, which is actually the reverse version of this clap, and it adds a little bit movement. Now, if you see, this one is so much quieter than the first one. It just adds a little bit energy. So it's really smoothly just pulls in the clap. And before we move on, let's speak about this section right here, which are the return channels. And I have quite a lot return channel. So I added the reverb with 100%, and by turning this amount up, you can decide how loud do you want this effect to be sent to this reverb. So it was -25, and it's a small reverb, like 679 milliseconds, and I added a double time of this, which is around 1.36 seconds. I also have a delay, and this one wants to recreate the Haas effect. So on the left side it's 1 millisecond delay, and on the right side it's 12 milliseconds delay. If you have a mono instrument, it can be a pretty useful trick to try to make it more stereo, make it sound more stereo. Next to that, I have another delay. Yeah, it's a ping-pong delay. Both left and right has synced on thirds, feedback up to 50%, and dry input, of course, on 100%. On every return channel you want to use 100%. I also added a saturator, which just makes the parts stand out a lot more. So if I add it to the clap, for example, so you can saturate the sound and make them stand out more from your production. After that, I have a ping-pong delay and an EQ8, where I'm cutting on the low frequencies. Actually, I could do this on all the other elements, I think, except the saturator. And I use this for vocals, and also the cathedral effect, I use it for vocals. When I'm opening these up, you can see the exact values right there. So kick to clap, and also I did a snap to layer the clap a little bit. Also an overdrive here and an EQ8. Without it, it sounds like this. Just a little bit more power to the clap, and now it looks like this. At every 8 bar, I added a reversed clap, which just adds an extra movement for the groove as well, but also gives you the opportunity to introduce new elements to the track. Sounds like this. So this is a white noise, and without all the effect, it sounds like this. And what are we doing? I just wanted to overdrive it a little bit. And I added a gate, which received an input, a sidechain input from the clap. Then I wanted to make sure that I'm only using the frequencies, like in the mid areas, what would add more power to the claps. And I thought this is a little bit long, so I gated the sound. No sidechain this time. So altogether, it sounds like this. And as you see, I mostly use -25 on the reverb A, or return reverb A, or return B, 2 times reverb. So what I want to do is trying to use the same amount of reverb, and I do this because it's make the whole group appearing more as it's one recorded in the same room or something like that, so it's more cohesive. And on this channel I actually use a glue compressor, and the point of using this compressor is to make the whole group sound as one sample and not as it's had been put together by different samples. And I use a really long attack, 30 milliseconds, a short release, and a small ratio, so like 2 to 1. And I want to find a threshold level where it's hitting around -5, usually that's where it works, and it also have the time to return back to 0. So let's listen to this. I could go even a bit further. And for the makeup, when you use compressors, you lose a little bit volume, and with the makeup you can turn it back up, so you can match the volume level before and after the compression. And the whole point is that after the compression, on the same volume level, the track or the group should sound more appealing. So without the compressor, with it, just a bit more powerful. Now we haven't used the heads yet, so let's speak about the heads. It's a nice open clap, cleaned the low frequencies. Also, I think it's, yeah, the whole hi-hats are sent to return A, and I usually like to send them on the return C, which is kind of the Haas effect. And we have also this one, a little bit pan to the left, but really a little bit, so a bit more interesting stereo space. This one is turned off. I'm not sure if I use this in the track. Actually, I could turn the attack up a bit. And as you see, there's not a lot of information here. That's some low frequencies what I don't want to use. I only want to use the hi-hats for the high frequencies, so I cleaned that as well. Let's put it back to the track. I like it actually. All together. I'm gonna play around with the attack, decay, sustain and release, also with the volume level to make it fit with my track. Also we have a drum fill from a Kashmir library. The whole thing is like this. I'm not sure if this is the original or if I did anything to it. This is the part what I use. And I panned it to the right. Also some return channels applied here. Here the bass and the kick is not playing, so I did not use any post-processing with the EQ8. And I also have another part. Yeah, I wanted to add another snare. Kind of a bit different, but yeah, it's not a lot of difference, but it works. In my opinion, that's a bit more energy. And the snare roll device, let's speak about that. Alright, so it was a sample from the Kashmir library, and what I did, this was a sample and I just placed them how I wanted them to sound like, and in the end I double it up and then double it again. I just cleaned up the lower frequencies, and this part is actually only used in the breakdowns, in the first and the second breakdown. And let's listen to what's going on here. Oh, it's also a filter automation going on here, which is a low pass filter. So we're slowly introducing the higher frequencies, also creating a peak meanwhile. And next to that, a lot of things is going on. This is a really good device what I bought, Bass Claps Easy Washout. So as you turn this one knob up, a lot of things happening, like filtering, also reverb automation, dry and wet is going up. The low frequencies are being removed. Also there's a filter delay automation, and the compressor is going on. Actually, it's pretty constant. It's going down. And here is the break going on in the break. It's actually also going on in the DJ intro section, coming in the drop B Vox section, and also in the DJ outro section it's playing. I think I know what this is. It's a massive sound. This is the original sound, and after the kickstart it's going to pump. I also added a filter, so I wanted to use only the low frequencies of this. And the same trick with the tie snare roll device. I added the easy washout. It's a bit automated. Also, it was automated here. This is the same pattern used over on the track, just the automations are a bit differently. It's a little bit different automation. The kickstart, I think I just used this guy, the free punch. Okay, so it's pretty simple stuff. Find a nice preset in massive what I like, and I removed the higher frequencies of that and applied it for the lower frequencies. All right, now let's go on to more exciting area. I'm going to use this part because all the bass lines are playing. First, let's listen to this bass section. So what's going on here? We have a sub bass. I think it's this one. I used the preset PSFET. I don't know what the preset is about. We used saw wave, square to saw wave, all the way to saw. Also a sine wave, and there's some white noise also applied. This is the envelope 4. We also use the third envelope for the automation on the cutoff. And this was actually a preset, but it's turned down to -2 octaves, and this one turned down by 1 octave. What's going on here? It's a pitch automation routed here. So from -2, yeah, this one is going down. So if you turn up the second macro, it's going down. I actually did not use those. Also, you could automate the pitch up, and it's applied also to here, and also 5 is also here. And what's going on, you can automate the cutoff here. Actually, it's the same if you just trigger it from there. But what's really important with the cutoff, also like this envelope is routed to it, but also an LFO is routed to it. And from here, from the macro 6, you can automate the cutoff. So it's more exciting if you use longer notes. Also, Sine Shaper is being attached, but I did not end up use it. Here's on the FX section, a telep tube is applied, and also a dimension expander and an EQ, a little bit boost. Okay, and let's check the voicing tab. We use Unison 04. It's a monophone. Okay, and also a bit crusher is applied here. So that's how the sound is looking like, and that's how you can create it. I also used a CLA 76 compressor. I wanted to catch the highest peaks of the sound. And after that, I also applied a CLA 2A compressor because I wanted to make the sound smooth and really even. Grabbing things around -1. So yeah, that's the goal of it. And In the end, I also used a kickstart punch preset on 100%. Actually, I could do an EQ cut. Just like this. This is our sound, and the pattern what I'm playing is an F sharp. Sorry for the clickings, it's using a lot of CPU. Can actually just grab this part for now and put it here. Okay, so this is the second sound. A lot of processing going on with this one. Let's see the original sound, and actually for now I'm also going to turn everything off here. So this is the sound. Playing on F sharp. It's assigned to triangle, turned down by 2 octaves, wavetable position in the middle, amp, so the volume a little bit removed, a B pulse, also 1 octave down, and there's also a saw wave, so square to saw wave 1 all the way to saw wave, and a little bit amp use. Everything is sent to filter 1, so into a low pass filter. And the envelope what we are using here is this envelope, and you can modulate the attack from here, and if you use this macro you can automate a cutoff right here. Also modulation oscillator has been used, a ring mode applied, plus 12 notes, also the phase. The second one, the white noise, had been used and modulated with the envelope 3. So this is what the envelope looks like. The overall envelope actually looks like this. Sign shaper on the insert, and also a clip next to that, flanger and an EQ. The original preset had the reverb, but I decided to use my own. What about the voicing section? Unison 2. And actually that's all that's important about this. So the sound originally looks like this. Then I added an amp. A bit more crispy. I also decided to saturate it a bit, but only with 10% of the dry and wet. I used the soft sign. I think everything was the same. I just turned up the drive. A bit more harsher. Also decided to use an overdrive on a moderate level, so dry and wet on 12%. I was aiming for the higher frequencies with this sound. Next to that, I decided to add a reverb channel, and on the reverb one, actually this is a dry one. This is a dry sound which contains no effect, and on the other one, I added the reverb, dry and wet 100%, 2.5 seconds decay time, and I also added a compressor which receives input from this sound. So it means that every time this instrument is used, the reverb is going background. Then I added a kickstart because I wanted the whole thing to be sidechained. I removed the low frequencies. I also created a dip in the high frequencies, so it's more for the middles. Wanted to leave space or something else in the higher sections. I decided to use a multiband saturator. So there are 3 channels here, one for low frequencies, another one for medium frequencies, and another one for highs. On highs, I used everything over 5490 kilohertz. And on the lows, I used everything under 170 Hz. And on the medium, I use the same amount. Like on 170 Hz, I use the frequencies over it. And here, I cut it off the high frequencies at 5440 Hz. On the lows, I have a compressor with a higher ratio, so kind of high ratio. And on the mid ones, I use a saturator and also a compressor. While on the highs, I use a saturator and a compressor as well. Here you can also use the Haas effect if you have a sound what needs it, or also an overdrive. And this makes a real big change. Actually, let's listen to it with and without it. So first without it. Without it. With it. Much more powerful. And it seems like I also send it to the saturator E. Okay, next sound, it's a Hoover sound. Let's listen to it without any post-processing. Okay, so let's analyze the sound. So 3 channels used here. This pulse saw, wavetable position turned kind of to the middle, Actually, this is not important because we don't use the macros, but you can also do a pitch automation here. Amp all the way up, send to filter 1. We use the same envelope, the same sound source. Different wave position, also pulse with it all the way down here, while here was all the way up. Same thing, -1 octave, and a sine square, -2 octaves. This supports the low frequencies. Intensity and amp all the way up. This was sent to this filter band reject as well. Kind of all the way up. You can modulate it from here, but we did not use it, so bandwidth all the way up, resonance all the way down. A little bit white noise attached to this sound without feedback. This is the parabolic shaper here on 50% dry and wet, the little bit of drive. Sine shaper also applied pretty heavily. This makes the sound really strong. The dimension expander has been used moderately, so like around 25%. This is the envelope of the sound. Voicing, free unisono, and the pitch cutoff have been moved a little bit away, so it creates a more wider sound. I used an amp on it, getting some higher frequencies here. Also added an overdrive, destroy it a bit. I use the same technique with the reverb here. Kickstart after. So this makes the whole thing sidechained, and some cleaning on the EQ. So low frequencies were not needed because the sub bass is taking care about it. And a little bit of the higher frequencies has been removed, over 16,000 Hertz. This way it fitted a little bit better in this production. Okay, let's move on and check these toms. Oh yeah, we didn't check the patterns. So this was the pattern for the synth. And the Hoover is just one note on F sharp because that's the root. Okay, so toms. So here in Massive, it should be a pretty simple preset. Square wave, it's a grown 1. Wavetable position up to max, also volume up to max. And the first one, the square wave, was sent to filter 1. And both of this has been pitch automated with this envelope. So it's going quickly up and then down. So in the beginning of the hitting of the tom, you hear a nice peak, and this has been sent to this low pass filter, which has been automated by envelope 1, really quickly up and then down. Also some white noise has been used. This is the overall envelope, and I'm voicing unisono 1, make sure that sound is monophone. Without any post-processing, it sounds like this. I wanted to use some vinyl distortion. Subtle change. Wanted to saturate it a bit. I wanted to use them in higher frequencies, not too much on the lows. Kickstart for sidechain, and I also removed the lower frequencies. So before processing and after processing. Much more aiming for the higher areas. And this is a sound from Kashmir. It's a brass sustain low F. I guess it's also being pitched up. Yeah, it's transposed up one note, so it fits with the F sharp scale. And this is the sound. Nice. An amplitude, overdrive, a reverb with the same technique, EQing, and a sidechain automation. So let's listen to this sound. This Hoover is a different layer. Throughout the track, I don't always use all the parts of it. Like at drop A, I introduce everything, just not the synth. On the drop B, I introduce everything. And as we get out of the track, less and less sounds has been used. I also don't use the Hoovers too often. In the beginning, I only use this tom to create some groove. So depending on what I wanted to use the track and where I wanted to use it, I applied those, sometimes doubled up, for example, like the Hoovers. So these were the elements what I had, and this is what I wanted to create the track out of. Also, this is the most important element of the track, the melody, and this is the scale what we are, or the melody what we are playing. F sharp to E, down to A, then D, down to C sharp, F sharp. It's just going down, down. Optimally, it would have a part where there's a question, it goes up, and then an answer where it goes down like this. This would be a question. but I decided to do it a different way this time, and I used a different approach. I really like how it came together. Without processing. Not too exciting this way. Let's see what's going on inside of. I'm using both parts. It's a triso and it's combined with a square wave actually, but it's a quarter pulse, so this is a different version of the square wave. Plus 3 octaves here, plus 2 octaves here, a volume maximum and a little bit detune. Here the volume is a bit more down and detune also applied. Retrig is on. This filter A automates all the part A and B. A bit of resonance, a bit of drive, also filter control. Warm drive is on, it's important. This one is at 24, so this is how steep your filter is. Also mod envelopes has been used. Let's look at part B. Here we use a square wave with plus 1 octave, no detune this time. And here we use 8 voices for this one is a white noise, but a really low volume. Actually the volume is all the way down. Also you should take a look on the envelopes and the amp envelopes. These sections are really important. They're changing the sound a lot. So take a note of this if you want to recreate this one. And also phase has been used, an LFO. So like this waveform has been used to modulate this a bit. It's not that necessary. Okay, so this is the sound what I started with. Really plucky. I wanted to add an overdrive to it. I like to use overdrive on simply everything. Instantly became more powerful. I'm using the same reverb technique. Also utility, I just turned the volume up a lot. Sidechain automation. And I also cut it off some of the higher frequencies. It's been automated as well. And I removed the lower frequencies. So now the track is nearly ready. What is this vox trick? This is the vocal part what I used.
I fuck it.
And also...
Okay, we're human being.
I decided to make a pattern out of this, and this is the vox trick. Let's cancel everything now. So this is from the part we're human being.
We're human being.
Only use this part. And here I did the same, and from there I just doubled it up. And what you can hear right here, it's also an automation. Also some further automation on it. I cleaned the lower frequencies and compressed it a bit. As well, you can see the filter automation. So in the track it sounds as... So it's not too much in the front, it's more like a coloring of the whole track. And also an easy washout has been applied, which creates an atmosphere. And here it's going to be weakened because of this washout. Slightly, the delays are coming in, the reverbs are coming in. So we speak about that already. After that, I just wanted to make sure the low frequencies are really clear. Let's see if they were. And also I wanted to add a sidechain which receives an input from the kick. So every time the kick hits, this is pumping. So that's how I did this vox trick. There are some elements from NASCHKATZE, vocal house.
I fuck it. Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it.
And here are the words.
Bouncer. Monster. Massive. I like it. Smoke. I like it.
On the point of using this group was only for the ping delay here and also the cathedral. I sent them from the group and not from the individual channels. Processing is the same and all the sounds, they are from the same sample bank. We start with some compression, some saturation, slightly applied.
Bouncer, I like it. Monster, I like it.
Really fat sound. A compressor, which is sidechain to the kick, lower frequencies removed. All right, what else we have? These are all the effects from NASCHKATZE Underground House Volume 1. This is the other sound. If you want, you can add the sidechain always here, so it can receive an input from, for example, the kick. So yeah, if you want to do that, you can. It's an option. All right, so let's check the track. How is the structure? Actually, we missed this filtered kick. It's the same kick, just this auto filtering is on it. And that's how I use it in some different parts of the track. For example, I use it in the DJ intro, DJ outro, and also these breakdowns, because I don't want to lose all the energy. So keeping a kick in like this in the breakdowns, it usually helps to keep the energy on the dance floor. So in the beginning, we use claps and a kick, and also we use this instrument. "15 seconds after, we use this drum fill, so we let the listener know something is coming in, and actually these heads are coming in. Also, I start to add the toms. And in the breakdown, I introduce the plucky lead and also this vocal trick and the vocal sounds. You can see here that to introduce this section, I also use these, well, it's a transition for now, because it's an up filter and a down lifter, or up lifter and down filter. So it's a really nice way to transition your sound. And after the drop,
Come on, I like it. Let's go, I like it.
on the drop, it switched up a little bit.
Bouncer, I like it.
This is kind of bouncer, I like it, monster, I like it. This is kind of the chorus of the track, and this is more like a verse. At least that's what I wanted them to be.
Oh, come on, I like it. Let's go, I like it. Oh, come on.
Because it's more repetitive. Here is a longer section. Here I only use the kicks.
Bouncer, I like it. Monster.
And remove the claps.
Bouncer, I like it.
And then using these drum fills, which sometimes I only use this part, which is pan to the left. And on the other hand, sometimes I also use the drum fills, so it gives a bit of variation. Also, if you check, they are a little bit different. So yeah, they are not repeating all the time. It's a bit more exciting this way. And the same thing what I did. So here are the claps, then I introduce the head, then I introduce the leads. Also here the synths are not playing because the vocals are taking care of this area, so I don't want to overfill the track. It's a good option to have them, but I did not use them all the time. And from here, from this drop A plus lead, we're going into the breakdown, and here the lead section is nicely introduced and kept also in the breakdown. The same thing is happening with the vocals, and here they are turned up, also transposed up and doubled right here. And also in the breakdown, the hoover, we still use it. And right before the drop, I leave 2, or actually 4 bars empty. And here I introduce the synths, so it also gives a little bit variation to the track. So not the same thing as repeating, but it's a bit more exciting this way. Also, the vocals has not been used here, it's going to be used later here. Nearly the same thing is happening in the drop A and drop A plus lead as in drop B and drop B plus lead. If you check, like, also the leads are introduced, also this vocal trick part is introduced. Actually right here on the FX it's totally the same. Also on the Vox section it's similar, and as well on the drum section. And in the drop box V, I knew I wanted to finish the track something like I did the DJ intro. I wanted to sound it something close to that in the DJ outro. So I also brought in this break part and let it play throughout the end. And to lose some energy, I also changed the kicks for the filter one.
Yes, I like it.
This small trick what I used, that I used a short sample of the lead sound, and these break sounds just keep the track exciting until the end. Alright, and I'm going to show you one trick. On the master channel, I always use an MV meter, and I want the kick to hit around -3. And when I add the sub bass to it, with the sidechain on, then this value should be at 0. That's how you can, most of the times you can balance pretty nice kick and bass. And I also use a trick limiter on the master, and it's pretty clearly showing how the track is going to sound like. One more trick. On the utility, in the breakdowns, I automate the volume. Here is automated from 0 to 1.42, but on the main breakdown from 0 to nearly 4 decibels, so -4 decibels. And next to that, I also automate the width, so it's losing energy from the sides, and when the track is coming back with a drop, it's like a blow up. Also, the volume is automated. In the breakdown, you don't over time you don't realize the volume change, but when the drop hits, it's really good to add energy. And I also use a utility often to check how the track would sound in mono. It's really important because most of the clubs has mono sound systems. Using a limiter, make sure that the output ceiling is around -0.3, and this is because when you generate an MP3 sound from a WAV file, it's going to distort it a little bit. But if you aim it at -0.3, it's not going to be distorted. Alright guys, and now I'm going to play the final product. Alright, and I forgot about the DJ intro and the DJ outro. Those are the parts that helps the DJ to mix in the track seamlessly. So that's why they are important. From the radio version, you can just delete them. Not all the listeners want to hear it, and bam, you have a radio version already. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will try to answer them. And I will see you soon in another video. Peace.
Who's doing what?